Hey, good afternoon. How is everyone doing today? I'd like to take the time to welcome you to another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center video. I am your host, Dedric Hubbard, and we're going to continue a message entitled, Who is Watching You? Who is watching you? And basically, it's because I didn't feel like typing in a new title, but it still goes within the parameter of what I want to reveal or what I choose to say for this present time. We're going to be in John chapter 4. And what we're going to still have to realize, oftentimes there are people watching how we live our life. There's people watching how we battle things that come against us, how we treat people, how we treat our spouses, how we treat relationships. And one most peculiar relationship in the Bible, it talks about Christ and the woman at the well. And what we're going to be able to discern and understand with this meeting at this well is that in this season, I want you to pay attention to the people that you call leader. I want you to pay attention to the people that you call mentor. I want you to pay attention to the people you call prophet. I even want you to pay attention to the people who you share on your social media accounts. Because many of you have been warned over the past few months that if you're going to listen to me, I don't need no distractions in you. And although I haven't done it yet, I'm watching the influencers y'all share. I'm watching the other preachers and the pastor. If you choose to share anybody's social media account, feel free. But if what you share is more than the person that you listen to, that you come to, that give you understanding, that give you revelation, then like I said a couple of years ago, that got my sister not talking to me, that's where you go. See, when I know who I am and I teach you to know who you are, ain't nothing else can distract me from learning the truth from who I know the truth. And what a lot of y'all be sharing are emotional, fleshly, carnal things that make you feel good about what you going through because they bring some kind of comfort and you still being carnal in your actions. We're not fooling with this in this season. I play no games with nobody. I don't care who you are. Because in this world to come, ain't nobody finna play no games with you. So some of you is taking God as a game. Well, you think you can just say and do anything and people okay with it. This a whole different ball game. And for many of you don't have the knowledge or the spiritual understanding that it's a whole nother ball game. As far as I'm concerned, I ain't got no time to be around you either. John chapter 4, it states, when therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Jesus made and baptized more disciples than John, though Jesus himself baptized not but his disciples, he left Judea and departed again into Galilee, and he must needs go through Samaria. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. If I was really if I was religious like y'all, I would use a subtitle entitled "Get Your Mind Right." Get your mind right. See, y'all worrying about everybody's business, what everybody doing, what they ain't doing, but what you doing. Get your mind right. So we see in verse 1, Jesus came to a place that people began to notice who he was. And what they noticed that he baptized more disciples than John. You got to come to your life, come to a point in your life when you realize, are you doing more than enough? See, some of y'all doing just enough to get by, but not enough to be delivered. You getting just enough to let people know you got a relationship with, will have a knowledge of Jesus, but not a relationship with Jesus. You doing just enough to keep your head above water, but knowing that you actually finna sink. When is just getting by is not going to be enough for you anymore? See, verse 2 says, Jesus himself baptized not, but his disciple. See, as a leader, you have to come to a place where you can trust somebody with something. You can trust them when you tell them to do something, they're going to do it. You can trust them when you give them some kind of assignment that they're going to complete it. You'll be amazed at a lot of things I entrusted people to do. Some of them never started, some of them never finished, some of them just gave up. I didn't say a word because to them it seemed meaningless. But to me, it was very meaningful. See, that's why we taught that lesson on the observation of obedience. See, as soon as I said 48, some people want to say, "Oh, here go $48. Here go $48." That's not what I said. Watch this. What I said was when the eclipse happened, I said from now on, if you're going to give in increments of 48. And I know I told you what 48 means. Some of y'all still didn't get it. You still didn't get it. Because God's trying to see how much you really pay attention to instructions. So Jesus left because he didn't want to be confronted about the work he do. That's why a lot of times I don't pay attention to people when they try to come at me for something I said or talk. I ignore them because it's when we get down in this scripture, their mental capacity can't understand nor comprehend why I do what I do. And a lot of people have left because they trying to figure out my next move. You trying to figure out why I do stuff. You want to figure out why I say something. You cannot figure me out. I don't have a pattern, but I notice them. The reason I don't have a pattern is because I got a relationship with God. And if he says somebody watching how you doing something, do it this way now, I change what I do. Haven't y'all heard, like when I stayed in Tallahassee, if I liked it somewhere to eat and I kept going that place to eat and I usually get the same thing, the minute they tell me what I want to eat, I leave and don't go there no more because you think you know me. Oh, I know it's easier for you to know people, but you can't. When you in a place in God and He's hiding you, they they think they know you, but they really don't know you because you only showing them what you want to see because the game is, and it is a game to a point. I just want to see how much you keep up with me. That's what I'm trying to do. Verse 4 says, and he must need go through Samaria. That means it's an urgency. That means it wasn't thought about, it was done. A lot of you think a lot. I'm gonna do this when I get some money. I'm gonna do this when I get married. I'm gonna do this when I get that. It ain't even a need. You're doing something because you see other people doing it. And for many of you, you will struggle for your needs and you'll go by your want. What you got to understand, Jesus was a Jew, and he said he must go through Samaria. But what you didn't understand is, what you got to understand, the Jewish people had no dealings with the Samaritans. So Jesus had to go to a place that was often confrontational to give you the answer of why you're being confronted. A lot of times when people offended about what I say, see, watch this. I'm gonna tell you something now. Take it the wrong way all you want, and that'll be good too, because that just shows me what I'm talking about. Anytime I say something and you have a discourse of how I say it, the way I say it, why it must be said, or if it offends you, you know what that means? That means you're not accepting what it was told to you. Because, see, when you read this Bible, even when Paul and the rest of the disciples went to different cities to preach the gospel, when they preached that gospel, you didn't, let's take John. You didn't hear people coming back telling John, oh, you call us robbers, you call us thieves, you call us this, you call us that. Y'all worrying about what name you call, but you forgetting the truth that was in what you were being called. You got to learn how to overlook how a message is portrayed, but understand the decision why the message was told. So when you get offended, that lets me know where your weakness lies. That lets me know what you're not willing to change. Because in every message, whether you like the way it's taught or you don't like the way it's taught, it's truth in it. Every lie got a truth to it. Even if it start out as a lie, it'll end in the truth. Even if it start out with the truth, it might end in a lie. Every lie has truth. And what Satan do to most of you, he wants you to be so concerned about what's said that you're going to get the deep revelation of the truth. What we got to understand, there was a need in Samaria to hear the truth. So the people that had been avoided, the people that see when Samaria got raided, they only left the poor people. And this and Samaria would represent the religious people of our day. Ooh, Brother Hubbard say that. Ooh, Brother Hubbard said this. Those the people that Christ wanted to reach. So it says, when he came to the city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near the plot of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus, therefore, being weary from his journey, sat thus by the well. It was about the 6th hour. Sychar, when you research Sychar, because you got to understand why Jesus went to where he went. Sychar is defined in Hebrew as drunken, hilarious, merry, madness, falsehood, deceit, deception. See, Jesus had to stop where the deception was at. He had to stop where the people were drunken with religious tendencies. In other words, when you understand the metaphysical definition, I got y'all that of what psycho meant, it signifies a confused state of mind or a mixed state of conscience. Example, idolatry. So when you understand the reason Jesus had to stop at Sychar, because that ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph, that ground symbolizes this, the forehead. This is the seat of intellectual perception. Intellectual perception. That means the reason I teach where I teach is because I'm trying to get through your confused state of mind that just because, okay, Mother's Day coming up, I don't give a damn about Mother's Day. But in your confused state of mind, if you don't buy Mama a Mother's Day gift, you don't love Mama. If you don't tell Mama I love you on Mother's Day, you don't. This here is why many of y'all can't hear God. You got a knowledge of God, but you got that worldliness and that carnalness and that fleshiness. You got it drunken all together, and you confused in who you are. You confused that being an AKA is the highlight of your life, but you still struggling to have a relationship with God. Oh, you can step, you can put on them colors, y'all saying them chants, but in your confused state of mind, you serving God too. I'm here to tell you today you're wrong. Verse 6. In other words, Christ had to come to Samaria to deal with idolatry of the mind, the way people perceive things, the way people confront things, the way people try to figure things out. That's why you can't figure me out, because I don't talk to you in a carnal state of mind. I talk to you in a way that I send you to God to find the answer. And oftentimes, if you're going to get the answer, you know what that proved to me? You don't have a relationship with God. See, that's why I listen to people where I be praying to God and I pray this, and y'all come around with your made up mind answers because you have no relationship with God to get the real answers. Verse 6 says, now Jacob well was there. Jesus, therefore, being weary with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour. So Jesus went straight to the source of their thirst, and he was weary. See, God getting weary of trying to tell y'all this wrong, that wrong. I don't care about your hair. It's still going to be wrong. I don't care about your divine nine. You still wrong. It was about at the 6th hour. And a lot of you, that's where you at now. The 6th hour means the breaking of the dawn of a new day. God is weary of some of y'all living your life less than what he prepared for you. The reason you living your life less than what God has prepared for you is because what I said before. You ain't willing to do more. See, for me to come over here and teach or preach or give you revelation, I had to do more than what I said. That's why it's so simple for me to turn on the camera. I ain't got to study nothing. I ain't got to write no notes. Only thing I had to do was open up the Bible. It's because I wanted more than what I seen. Because when I went in church, all I seen was the same thing. We're gonna talk about the lost coin, the lost sheep. They're gonna tell you how to love. You got to honor pastor. You got to give this. I knew it was more to God than that. So when I knew I had a relationship with God, guess what I had to do? I said I need to do more than what I see because I want more than what they got. So so God is weary. That's why I said I'm not arguing with nobody. When he said, Dedric, just leave him alone. Don't argue with him. He many of you don't know how much relief that give me. I ain't got to worry about the person in question down at Birmingham calling me. I'm sitting on that phone 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour at a time while you telling me something that I already gave you the answer to. Man, I'm relieved now. Huh? Sad to say. And I'm not saying this in the wrong way. Watch this. When I got married, I kind of seen what my wife was doing. I know how I am. I said, if you're gonna put Josiah and all these things, make sure you able to take them and you able to pick them up. Because when I get through cutting my grass, I be tired. I don't want to go nowhere. But being married, guess what I was doing? Sometimes I was taking them. I had to wait on them. I had to pick them up. I did this. I did that. Listen here. I ain't got to do that no more. Dad, I want something to eat. I had to get up and go. Not that it wasn't a joy doing it, but watch this. Not that I didn't enjoy doing it, but I had to learn to override my selfishness for the sake of what somebody else wanted to do. So here, Jesus had to come to this well because he must need go to Samaria because he wanted to override the selfishness of what the people had learned because Jacob had became their idol because that was Jacob will, which means all the information they wanted came it came from their knowledge of what Jacob did, what Jacob's sons did. Verse 7, it says, there come a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus said unto her, give me to drink, for his disciple was gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Jesus answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that said to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. Y'all ready? Jesus was at the well. Jesus is a man. The Samaritans were second class citizens, the way the Jews seen them. So, what Jesus did, Jesus approached her in the way that she had learned to see herself as a servant. So, he sat there on the well. In other words, servant, give me something to drink. Watch this. Because the people who served him was going to buy meat. This so good. We miss all this revelation because y'all be in church. They just bragged about how Christ allowed disciples to baptize, i.e., give water, give living life. But this time, they were going to buy meat. Why would he send 12 disciples to buy some meat? See, you got to realize a lot of you missing, you looking for the meat of the revelation, that you missing the life in the revelation that it says. See, what I told you a couple messages ago, I said I really don't care about what I be talking about. But I told you, when you put on them wigs and them weaves, what you're doing, you're confusing who you are. Because you're blocking revelation that may be relevant, not for you, but for somebody else. When you put on them eyelashes, what you're doing, you're not seeing the way God wants you to see something because you're blocking communication. See, when you out there stepping, sliding on the pole, dancing to the nasty song, you're worshiping your way from God. See, I'm telling you, what you're doing does affect your relationship with God. Because he said in his words, friendship with the world is an enmity against God, which means anything you do and you can't stop doing it, it becomes an idol in your life. If it becomes an idol in your life, that means you have a strong displeasure of what God trying to say to you. So she had a strong displeasure against Jews. So she says in verse 9, who you think you are? You don't fool with me. Why you want me to give you something to drink? Who Brother Hubbard think he is? His wife used to wear weed. Well, his wife did that. I didn't ask you about her. I told you what the revelation said. Because no matter who I date or whoever I marry, my relationship with God is not dependent on who I'm connected to. I tell y'all a long time ago, we going to heaven as individuals, not a group. My relationship with God is my relationship with God. The woman or whoever relationship with God is their relationship with God. So you cannot identify who I am based on who I got next to me and what they do. The joke's on you. That's what happened in verse 9. She put herself in a group when he was talking to her as an individual. He said woman of Samaria. He didn't say women. How is that being a Jew? You notice how she grouped herself, but she individualized Jesus? That's a good one now. I know it's good. I'm teaching it as the Holy Spirit gave it to me. That's why I know it's good. Ask his drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria. For the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans. See, first she individualized herself and grouped Jesus. Then, watch what she did. She individualized Jesus and grouped him. Confused. Confused. That's why y'all get mad when I talk about them deltas and them Q's and all that other crap. Because your identity is compromised because you grouping yourself with things that God has nothing to do with. So he had to confront her thinking. That's why he goes to verse 10. If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that said to thee, give me to drink, thou would have asked of him, and he who would have given thee living water. What's the gift in you? You call yourself a prophet, but whatever you call to do. You call yourself evangelist. What else you call to do? You call yourself an apostle. You can't, you don't know what else you call to do because you really don't have a relationship with God. Give me the drink. He would have given you living water. See, Christ was thirsty. He went thirsty for the well water. He was thirsty to see how the woman in the well can change. Every time I come online, don't some change in some of y'all? Some for the good, and a lot of y'all for the bad, and some because you just knows it. Let me see who he is. Let me see if he talking about me. Let me see. You can't listen to me like that. Understand, prophetic people. Your whole life is an open book. You just got to know how to decipher the chapters, the paragraphs, the periods, the semicolons, and, 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 and what to be silent about. Because your revelation often comes from your life. I don't talk about my marriage because I'm sad or all that. It's a part of my life now. The next young woman in the life, part of my life. So I got to say what need to be said as the revelation God gives me to say it. I got to input myself, my life, my circumstances, and what I go through to let you know you can overcome. Verse 11. The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well and drank thereof himself, and his children and his cattle? Jesus answered and said unto her, Whosoever drink of this water shall thirst again. Ooh, don't that just turn you on when you read that scripture? See, the reason why I stated earlier, a lot of you can't comprehend what I say, is because the spiritual. The spirit, a natural carnal man can't comprehend the words of the spirit. So that's why this woman said, You ain't got nothing to draw with. In other words, you ain't finna use my bucket. I done love my bucket down here. I'm not finna, you ain't finna get no water out of this. What you, and the well deep. Watch this. You know the well was deep when you come get the water. See, she made an excuse because she didn't want to do it. And a lot of you, when you hop on these lives and you hear me say something, you know what you do? You get upset. Y'all will run to social media and put it all on social media, but you scared to take it to God. Because if you take it to God, God gonna make you change. See, that's why, listen here, and I don't care how y'all feel about it. I'm gonna tell you men something. Don't date, marry no woman who go to social media for attention and put her business on social media. You don't want nothing like that. That's the worst kind of woman that you can ever have in your life. Because of simple disagreement, because they suffering with abandonment, they suffering with rejection, they want to feel love, they want to feel, they'll run to social media. Yeah, da, 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 da. You don't want that. You don't want it. That's an out of control woman. Go look at her social media page. Anybody she didn't dated or married or in a relationship, go look at how they call it blasting. They throw them little subs because they confused. So she go into verse 12. Art thou greater than our father Jacob? See, Jacob had become an idol. So they listened to the Old Testament. So here this New Testament come. He said, You ain't gonna thirst again. He said, Whoever drink of this word shall thirst again. That's why I tell y'all, I live for revelation, which means I'm thirsty for revelation. I'm not thirsty for financial gain. I'm not thirsty for worldwide notoriety. I live for the next revelation. Next revelation. I was telling Doc I had a headache this morning. Blood pressure was high. I said, I know how to get it down. Y'all know what I did? Yeah. I came on I came on live and started teaching. See, one thing about that gospel, all you got to do is teach it and it'll make you free. But some of y'all can't teach it because you don't want to live by it. Verse 14, he said, but whosoever drinketh of this water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. When are you going to hit your spring? I'm talking about why you always depressed? Why you always angry? Why you always thinking that you won't make it? When you gonna hit your spring? Didn't I just teach y'all yesterday when you trust in Jesus? Well, I don't. It said they don't fear bad news or whatever I said the scripture was. Bad news don't faze me. I trust him. If I'm broke tomorrow, I trust God. See, a lot of y'all don't trust God. That's why you working so hard to make things work because your trust is in you and what you can do, but you don't trust God. Or you know him, but you don't trust him. Because see, when you trust him, you don't see. Y'all know I love cutting grass. But that day God told me to stop, I didn't worry about how much money I was losing. I didn't worry about what I was going to do next. I trust God. I turned that truck around, drove it home, and I guess a week or two later, I sold the trailer and everything. I think I got, ain't your business how much I got. I didn't care. I don't even have the desire to cut grass. That was my main livelihood. I'm still going strong. The only thing I did was took the truck back and I could have kept it. But I told them, I said, well, I don't want to be put in a position that if I don't have the money for the other truck that you come get it, I said, let's pay this one off and I'll come get another one. I ain't got it yet. Because I trust. So watch this. If God told you to quit your job right now, you will say it's Satan. That ain't God. Because you trust what you got. See, it's easy to trust God when you got it coming in. But how about you trust him when it ain't coming in? Oh, I got to make so many thousand a month. See, watch this. I'm finna hip y'all on now. Ooh, finna hip y'all on. You never live a lifestyle you can't afford anyway. If you have to worry about how you're going to afford something, that's a sign that you didn't need it. That's I don't worry about how I'm afford nothing. And if I and if it's in my range and I can't do it, I'm not crying. I'm not gonna get depressed. I'm not asking God to send me no money. I trust him. When you see, you think because you trust God that you can do all this and you trust in God to keep your living at bay. You talking to a man that done lost everything for the fourth time. But it was all for a reason. See, sometimes God want to see what we want more of. What we said before all this started happening in my life, I said, "Are you willing to lose what God gave you so He can give you what you want you to have?" Some of us didn't want to let go. That's why we're struggling now. And some of us had to come to a mindset. Okay, I got to let this go. You got better for you if it's a challenge to keep what you got. I never be in a fight, but I got to be challenged to keep what I got. I think I better let it go. Looks like another love TKO. Oh, that Teddy Pendergrass there. The woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Mm. See, a simple conversation changed her whole life. Y'all know how some of y'all met God? A simple conversation with me changed. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they was around me a past weekend. You know what they told me? They said I felt like I was in the presence of God. You talking about me? The adulterer, the whore, the causer, the divorce, the people, the boy that said he hate people, the one that says that says he if you send a picture to his phone again, he gonna print your son picture out and set it on fire. You mean you said you felt like you me? That says a lot about some of y'all. People can people you can be around people and you don't know the God attached to your life because you still trying to live your life. I don't care about stuff. I ain't got to have no name brand. Now I'm gonna buy my hat. I like my hat. I got the Panther on today because I'm out here fighting. I'm fighting to confront y'all. See, a Panther ain't like a lion. A lion, he moves slow on his prey. When that Panther comes, or we going, or we moving fast. And by the time you turn your head, we already at your neck. Blood everywhere. Blood everywhere. Blood everywhere. You should have, I came on this live. You should have said, I wonder why Dedric wearing all red today. That's if you prophetic. That lets you know that you ain't prophetic. I'm trying to help y'all. Because a prophetic person gonna notice the slightest change or the slightest event about something going on. You can't move fast enough. But do what you want. So watch what he says to her. Oh, we do verse 15? Oh, we ain't. Okay, so she want the water that she thirsts not, but watch what he said. She don't want to come back to the well. Why y'all keep going drinking the same dirty water that keeping you dirty? Why you got the same mentality that you always have? See, that's why a lot of you in the situation that you're in is that when I try to confront your way of thinking and doing stuff, you buck up. That's why I say do what you want to do. Ain't nothing but truth over here. So he gave her a off the wall instruction. Jesus said unto her, Go call thy husband and come here. Why would he tell her to go call her husband? See, she had to love those buckets from up at the mountains. And what Jesus was saying, why you don't have no help? Y'all around here laying on y'all backs with these men, and you got to go ask somebody else for help. All you getting is a wet towel when you get up. Rent behind, can't pay your car insurance, you need an oil change. Watch this. Single women, I'm gonna get you. When the last time your car had an oil change? When the last time you had sex? When the last time you needed new tires? When the last time you had sex? When is the last time you got your car detailed? And when is the last time you had sex? You don't even know your second class sentences because you used to going without. Go call your husband. You around him praying to God to help you, but you giving up the coochie to everybody who wants it. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Jesus said unto her, thou hast well said, I have no husband. For thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband, and thou sayest thou truly. Verse 19, the woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Ooh, 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 ooh. Don't this Bible give y'all chill when you read it? Well, I guess not if you ain't got no revelation. Jesus asked her a question that he knew didn't have an answer. She said, I ain't got no husband. Y'all be what? See, when I ask you a question, sometimes I already know the answer. I ain't like Jesus and say something because most of y'all, you a lie, you a lie, you a lie, you a lie. So I don't respond when I ask the question, but I understand the answer. So Jesus said, ain't no man around to help you. Ain't a man around to help you, but you can find plenty to sleep with you. You know what that means? That's a woman who don't know who she is in God. That's a loaded answer. So you think about that, because I got to go on now. He said, "For thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband, in that says thou truly." Now, see, that's a loaded answer because when you study the Sumerians, they had 5 different types of it. They okay. That's the one I'm gonna go with. Then that's what the Holy Spirit said. They worship 5 different gods. So when he said 5 husbands, he was talking about each god that they changed and what each god represented. So now the God that she's now the husband she got now is Jacob. His spirit of idolatry. But she thought he was talking about natural men because she was a whore. She slept around. See, if if I was in my church, I can teach you how I want to. That means this woman back in the Bible is like you women today. He laying back there in the tent, you know, uh, uh, making him a cattle tooth knife, and she doing all the work. She like y'all give him y'all car, and he drop you off work, and he picking up the other women, or at home playing PlayStation. This was that kind of, you know, that kind of carrying on. She said, I perceive thou art perfect. See, the problem is you don't know you, and when somebody else tell you about you, most of you say that ain't true. But see, this woman said, you must be a prophet because he hit her with the truth. Watch verse 20. Our fathers worship in this mountain. Notice she said fathers. See, every father had a spirit attached to him. And now she was in the spirit of Jacob. And ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men are to worship. You notice or take understanding of, it talks about the woman at the well, but it talks about men are to worship. So that said, or we could assume that the men didn't understand what worship really meant. That's why a lot of you are without, because you don't know. You don't know what worship really means. See, when you look around and you want to know who watching you, it's a it's a lot of people watching you and doubting the Christ in you. See, when that Bible said we must have life and life, he came so we can have life and life more abundantly. If all you doing is sitting at home because nobody won't be bothered with you, you ain't got no life and it ain't abundant. If you can't have no fun because you worried about how people perceive you, you ain't having life and life. Boy, I was talking to somebody the other day. We was hanging out and we were just talking about having fun. They said, yeah, we were drinking all our mimosas and we was talking God and we was talking that. Listen here. The Bible said don't get drunk. It don't say you can't drink. Life more and more abundantly. If all you do is spend your time in the house wondering what time Brother Hubbard coming on, you ain't got no life. Because trust me, I don't sit in the house wondering what time I'm going to come on. I don't sit in the house worry about what people think about me. And for a lot of you, they don't want the Christ in you because the Christ you showing them is too strict. Yeah, you got that strict Christ. Don't nobody want to be no believer. They can't have fun. They can't go here. They can't go. Listen here. If I felt like going in a strip joint, I'm going in a strip joint. Where we at? I'm gonna go down to Magic City and get me some chicken wings. That's what all the other men do. That don't mean I got to look at the booty. That don't mean I got to pay for a lap dance. You don't know where God will send you to use you. But if you scared or thought wrong when I said going to Magic City, that shows you need a little bit more God in you. You don't think God will send you in the gambling house to bring somebody out? But if you addicted to gambling, he ain't gonna send you. If I'm addicted to women, he ain't gonna send me in there. Cause see, I can go in there and the woman can be stripped. Hey, God told me to tell you such and such and such. She probably break down and cry right then and there, put on her clothes and go out and worship God. But see, God can't use y'all the way he want to use some of y'all. It's because you too strict in him. Live a little. Some of you can't live a little because you ain't got no money. You ain't got no money because you don't know how to live. But look at him. Do what you want to do. I'm gonna find me something to eat.